There's always been something eerie about October's last night, but not everyone knows why. Aiden is sitting in his room looking outside the window. The wind howls and the trees sway violently. Aiden closes the curtains hastily and checks his phone. The time flashes. 11:45 p.m. They say it comes for you when the clocks strike midnight if you're alone. It knows. Bright autumn day. Aiden is walking home after work. The sky is starting to dim as the sun sets early. He's on the phone with his best friend, Sarah. Sarah asks him, "You're still living in that old house? You know it has history, right?" Aiden laughing. "You sound like my grandma. It's just an old place. No big deal." Sarah serious. "Look, Aiden, just don't stay there alone tonight. It's the last night of October. People disappear. It's not a joke. Aiden, come on, I've lived here for 2 years. Nothing's happened. I'll be fine." He hangs up and steps inside his house. The sun sets fully, plunging the area into a chilly twilight. Aiden starts to settle in. He pours himself a drink, turns on the TV, but something feels off. His movements become slower, more cautious, as the shadows lengthen. Suddenly, the power flickers. The TV crackles. The lights go out for a few seconds, then flicker back on. Outside the window, a dark figure can be faintly seen near the edge of the yard, watching. Aiden prepares for a quiet night, but he can't shake the unsettling feeling. He paces the living room, checking the windows and doors. He tries calling Sarah, but the phone glitches and the call fails. "Stupid phones," he says. Suddenly, there's a loud knock on the door. He slowly approaches the door, peeking through the peephole. No one's there. Aiden shaking his head. "Kids? Probably a prank." He turns away, but the knock comes again. Louder this time. He whips back around, checks the peephole again. Still no one. Aiden nervously. "All right, this isn't funny." He opens the door. No one's outside. The street is completely empty, bathed in pale moonlight. The wind rustles the leaves, but there's no sign of life. Just as he's about to close the door, a cold wind blows in, and he hears a faint whisper. "Midnight alone." He slams the door shut, breathing heavily. The clock shows 11:30 p.m. Aiden starts hearing more strange sounds. Footsteps upstairs. The creak of a door. He grabs a flashlight and cautiously ascends the stairs. The hallway light flickers erratically. Aiden whispering, "Just the house, it's old, nothing more." As he reaches the top, he hears the unmistakable sound of someone breathing heavily behind him. Horrified, Aiden spins around, but no one is behind him. He checks the upstairs rooms. They're all empty, but the feeling of being watched intensifies. He rushes back downstairs, locking himself in the living room. The clock now reads 11:45 p.m. Suddenly, his phone buzzes. It's a message from Sarah. "Aiden, get out of the house now. It's coming for you." Aiden stares at the phone in disbelief. Just then, the door to the living room creaks open on its own. The flashlight flickers as the shadows grow longer. The clock ticks closer to midnight. Aiden is pacing in circles, trying to keep calm. His breathing is shallow, his eyes darting around the room. The house feels like it's closing in on him. Aiden whispering, "Only a few more minutes. Just a few more." The power cuts off entirely. Darkness engulfs the house. The flashlight sputters and dies. Aiden fumbles, trying to turn it back on. Then, in the pitch black, he hears footsteps. Slow, deliberate, the footsteps stop. The room falls dead silent. Footsteps coming closer. Aiden screams, "Who is there?" For a long beat, nothing happens. Then, a faint voice, almost childlike, whispers from the shadow. "Midnight, you're alone." Aiden, shaking uncontrollably, looks at the clock. It's 11:59 p.m. Just as the clock strikes 12 o'clock, there's a deafening bang from the front door. Aiden drops to his knees, covering his ears. Aiden crying, "Please, no." The door bursts open. The room is flooded with an unnatural, bone-chilling cold. The shadowy figure that's been stalking him finally steps inside. Tall, distorted, and utterly terrifying. The figure moves towards Aiden, who is paralyzed with fear. He tries to scream, but no sound comes out. The next morning, the sun rises over the quiet neighborhood. Police cars are outside Aiden's house. They found nothing except Aiden's phone. Aiden is nowhere to be found. Only the faint whisper of the figure's voice remains in the air. Midnight, you're never alone. On the last night of October, it always finds someone. Next time, it might be you.